Jeanette Nunez, Florida DM Director Kevin Guthrie, and our Department of Children and Family Secretary Siobhan Harris. We're now 48 hours after landfall. There are approximately 91,000 power outages reported throughout the state. There have been 476,000 accounts that have been restored since the storm hit the state of Florida. Counties with the greatest number of power outages are Taylor, Madison, Lafayette, Hamilton, Suwannee, Jefferson, and Dixie. Duke Energy has reported that 95% of all of its customers will be restored by tonight in Alachua, Dixie, Gilchrist, Jefferson, Lafayette, Levy, and Suwannee. And then 95% of all Duke customers in Taylor and Columbia will be restored by Saturday, and 95% of all customers in Hamilton and Madison by Sunday night. This is also important. A lot of those counties have electrical co-ops. Duke Energy, though, does serve as the transmission partner for many of those Big Bend cooperatives. I know those electrical cooperatives have indicated that they are accepting mutual aid, and so that aid is available. The state has made sure that we have the resources we need to be able to surge the personnel to be able to do it. I mean, you look at a place like Madison County, major power outages, a lot of poles knocked down. It's hundreds of poles probably have been reported, but we've got many thousands of people that can go. We've got the trucks, and we want to get the job done for folks. And so I fully anticipate that those cooperatives will be accepting that support, and will bring this in for as quick a landing as can be possible. Meal distribution, there are now 9 pods open for residents who are in need of food, water, ice, or tarps. 3 pods are in Suwannee County, 2 pods in Hamilton County, 1 in Madison, 1 in Taylor, 1 in Lafayette, and 1 in Jefferson County. Also, we have nonprofit groups like Operation Barbecue have set up meal distribution sites. Today, there are 7 locations across the impacted areas to get a hot meal, including locations in Live Oak, Perry, and Cross City. You can find pods and food distribution sites that are open by visiting floridadisaster.org/updates, floridadisaster.org/updates. We also are coordinating with the private sector throughout the state of Florida. All big box stores in the area are open. Some of them are running on generator power, but they are open. And so that is everything from Walmart to Publix to Winn-Dixie to Lowe's. We're also happy to announce that Walmart is establishing a one-stop shop for residents who need food, supplies, showers, laundry, etc. at the Walmart location in Perry. So there will have things like mobile showers, restrooms. They're going to be working with Verizon to bring charging stations to the local communities, and this will be helpful as some of these residents are weathering the power outages that I know people are working to remedy. The Department of Children and Families will be setting up a family resource center at Battlefront Ministries in Perry. They will have Hope Navigators, crisis counselors, and economic self-sufficiency staff. Florida Commerce will be authorizing and opening up the Emergency Bridge Loan Program to help businesses bridge the gap between the time a disaster hits and when other funding like insurance becomes available. That mobile center for Florida Commerce is going to be deployed to Horseshoe Beach, and they'll have staff available to help with some of those folks. I was able to go yesterday and meet with some of the business owners there that had really significant damage. And I think that it was a difficult situation, very raw. They had just gotten back into town yesterday, but we're going to have resources available to be able to get them back on their feet. And so we're proud of the quick response by Florida Department of Commerce. So we are. I'm going to be touring some of the other areas throughout the day, and I know Kevin and General Haas are going to also be out in other parts of the areas helping, continuing to assess what the needs are, and then delivering the relief as appropriate. Okay, we're going to hear from some other folks here, starting with our Lieutenant Governor.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Governor. Because of your leadership and the dedication of so many individuals that have been working around the clock, Florida is indeed a national leader as it relates to emergency management, and I want to thank you for your work. Your commitment and dedication to the people of Florida has been stellar. And we have a lot to be proud of, as you heard the Governor mention, everything from restoring power to hundreds of thousands, making sure that we're cleaning roads and clearing them of debris so that people can access their communities, making sure that our vulnerable and our elderly are safe, and of course activating search and rescue efforts and to help those that are stranded or in dangerous situations. But children are also uniquely impacted by storms, which is why I'm so glad that we're going to continue to focus on making sure that our schools are open. We can't forget that our children need to be back in the classroom, and the Governor, as a young father himself, understands that returning to normalcy for Florida students is critically important. So today, I'm pleased to report that 58 out of our 67 counties school districts are open. They're up and running, and we expect that number to grow over the weekend. 10 of our 12 state universities are open, and 26 of our 28 state colleges. With our Commissioner of Education, Manny Diaz, and the Department of Education, they have been working not only to make sure that they had the resources leading up to Hurricane Idalia, but also assessing damage and being able to help them as they are looking to get back up and running. Our administration will be diligent to ensure that they have the resources that they need and supply schools with whatever supplies that they'll need in the coming days. Commissioner Diaz and I will be visiting schools in Suwannee and Hamilton County that were impacted by the storm. And our superintendents, our principals, our teachers, they've been doing a great job. They're the best in the country. We're very appreciative of all their efforts thus far. And again, on behalf of Governor DeSantis' leadership, we've shown that getting kids in the classroom is a priority throughout our entire administration, and especially now as we continue to supply Floridians with the hope and the need that they're going to have as we restore normalcy. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. The state of, first, let me thank both the governor and lieutenant governor and partners like Secretary Harris here. We cannot do, the division cannot do what we do without the leadership and then the support of our sister agencies across the spectrum of state government. So again, thank you for all of that leadership and support. The State Emergency Response Team continues to support communities impacted by Hurricane Idalia. Thanks to the leadership, as I just mentioned. By the end of the day, we will have 9 pods. The governor has mentioned that. I will not reiterate those locations. But 5 of these pods, I will reiterate, opened at noon yesterday. So again, 36 hours after landfall, we had points of distribution open up for Floridians. More than 2,100 vehicles visited these pods yesterday and received more than 48,000 liters of water and 73,700 MREs. We could not do that without the support of the Florida National Guard and the Florida State Guard, and I want to thank them publicly for that. Today, we're going to be working on setting up a base camp in Horseshoe Beach and one in Madison County to provide housing and supply distribution sites for our valued nonprofit providers. These nonprofits are going to be going in to assist with items like muck and guts and also, clearing up properties. Baptist Kitchens, Mercy Chefs, Operation Barbecue Relief, Catholic Charities, World Central Kitchen, and more are going to be all over the ground in the coming days preparing meals for impacted residents, and I thank them for their tireless efforts. The State Emergency Response Team is also working hard to address health and medical needs with contracted nursing staff supporting special needs shelters in Suwannee, Pinellas, Hernando, Marion, and Dixie counties. Our search and rescue efforts are nearly complete, and we've finalized operations in 15 counties and are continuing efforts in 3 counties, Madison, Suwannee, and Lafayette today. As search and rescue comes to a close very soon, we are immediately shifting into recovery efforts to get communities back on their feet as quickly as possible. Thanks to Governor DeSantis and our federal partners, we have secured a major disaster declaration for 7 counties, and we will be requesting additional counties be added to that major disaster declaration today. One last thing that I will mention under the governor's leadership yesterday, and again, I don't think people realize just how much of a leader and support we have in Governor DeSantis, but yesterday we were at Horseshoe Beach, and there was a couple of people that were post-disaster homeless. And I'm happy to announce that today we're going to move 5 trailers into Horseshoe Beach today. So again, it took months for us to get to that point after Hurricane Ian, and I'm happy to announce that within 48 hours we're going to have travel trailers in that area for Horseshoe Beach, which is one of the most impacted. Governor, we couldn't do that without your leadership, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Okay, Siobhan?
Good morning, everyone. First, my thoughts and prayers are with those impacted by the storm. I want to thank the governor, the lieutenant governor, First Lady Casey DeSantis, and Director Guthrie for their steadfast and incredible leadership before, during, and after the storm. I also want to thank first responders, search teams, and the linemen for working around the clock. Events like Hurricane Idalia can bring forth a lot of uncertainty. However, for the people of Florida, one thing is certain, and that is the proven record of this governor to do all that is necessary to ensure an expeditious response. We know the devastating losses that individuals and families have experienced, and navigating the myriad of steps to rebuild can be overwhelming. But we want you to know that you are not alone. I'm pleased to announce, as the governor mentioned, 2 activities that will be instrumental in helping individuals with both their immediate needs and long-term planning. This morning, we're standing up family resource support centers in Madison, Taylor, and Suwannee counties. These centers were critical following Hurricane Ian. Each site is staffed with skilled, compassionate teams, including Hope Navigators, crisis counselors, and other program experts who specialize in helping people through the recovery process. Hope Navigators play a pivotal role in the First Lady's Hope Florida program in helping people get back on their feet. We're grateful for the many partners who often co-locate at these centers or are willing to provide additional supplies and resources for those in need. The Taylor County FRSC is located at Battlefront Ministries, the one in Madison is located at the Bridge Church, and the one in Suwannee is located at our DCF office. For hours of operation and address information, please visit our website at www.myflfamilies.com. I'm also excited to announce a new component of the Hope Florida initiative, the Hope Bus, which will allow Hope Navigators to travel to areas where we know there's greater need. It will be useful in reaching populations that may have transportation challenges, as well as communities devastated by natural disasters. The Hope Bus will be accepting its first assignment, traveling to Madison County to bring extra supports to this area. The Hope Florida initiative has truly been transformational. Today's deployment is an exciting announcement and a testament to the First Lady's ongoing commitment to support families with critical resources. The people of Florida are fortunate to have the governor, the lieutenant governor, the First Lady, and so many others in their corner, and the department stands ready to do all that it can. Thank you.
We have opened up the Florida Disaster Fund so people can go and make a contribution to floridadisasterfund.org. I know that there's been a significant amount of money that's been raised as part of that. So with Hurricane Ian, there was tens of millions of dollars distributed, but under the rules at that time, they had to go through basically charitable organizations, which was fine. I mean, we were able to partner when teachers were displaced. We were able to help the teachers through the local education charities. When the police and the firefighters, we went to support them. We did it through their local charitable arms, and so you were able to do it. Also provided resources to other groups who were rebuilding homes and doing things to help. So it was good, but the legislature has changed the structure of it so that and Kevin has set up a charity directly from the disaster fund, basically, that could go and help people directly, because there's so many different types of needs that someone may need something that one of these other established charities just may not be set up for. So that has still been pending for a while. IRS approval. FEMA Director Criswell did call the IRS, I think the IRS director, and asked if we could get this thing expedited. I mean, it will be approved eventually. It merits it. But that will be something, and especially if you look at some of these places that have been affected, like a Horseshoe Beach, Cedar Key, getting into Steinhatchee. These are, those are smaller coastal communities than maybe what we dealt with in Southwest Florida. The needs, I think, are maybe a little bit more unique. So it just gives us more flexibility to be able to respond as best as we can. And I think that there was a lot of damage that I saw in some of those areas. I mean, you'd see that water went up pretty high. I mean, it was 4 or 5 feet along the walls of these places. We saw a church, the Baptist church there in Horseshoe Beach was ruined. We met a lady who now we are going to have a trailer, but she was homeless because the water went up 4.5 feet in her home. And it's just not something that's going to require a lot of work to be able to get that to be habitable again. And so they need help in the interim. And so we launched the housing mission, first ever state to do this after Ian. FEMA had traditionally done it. They did do some of it too, but we wanted to get as quickly as possible, so we provided this. Now to have these trailers and have all this where we can get it a few days after the storm, that's never happened in the history of storm relief, not even close. But it's important that we have that option, particularly where these communities are, because there's not a lot of hotels that would be available. After Ian, a lot of the people that were displaced, a lot of them were staying in hotels because Southwest Florida, I mean, there's a bunch of hotels. It's just every other block you could probably find a hotel. Well, that's not necessarily the same in Taylor County or Dixie County or some of these places. So having that option, I think, is really, really good, and it just shows that we lean forward on these things to try to solve problems when those problems arise. Okay, we're going to be going out doing some more site visits today, and look forward to being able to report hopefully some more progress as the day and week goes on.
Do you support the Biden administration's call for more money for the FEMA Disaster Relief Fund? They're looking for $4 billion more.
How Washington handles all this stuff, I don't quite understand. I mean, in the state of Florida, we fund disasters ahead of time. So we have a fund that we created since I've been governor to be able to do this, because you hope you don't have them, but the reality is, I mean, these things just happen. So they just did a big budget deal and did not include that. They included a lot of money for a lot of other stuff. So hopefully, I trust our senators and congressmen, hopefully to be able to work it out in a good way. As governor, I'm going to be pulling whatever levers I can to be able to help folks. And so if that's the state, we're mobilizing all of our state assets. Private sector, we're leveraging that, and we will apply for whatever federal money is available.
Talk about your reaction to having only part of your disaster request approved when, counties like Madison County, people are saying that the damage there is worse than what was expected.
Madison was approved, though, wasn't it?
No, sir, Madison.
Okay, so what we anticipate, so we spoke with FEMA. We absolutely anticipate more counties being added. We are going to be asking for that. Same thing that happened with Ian. They added them. But certainly a county like Madison, I mean, they had 100% power loss. It's a county that has not necessarily faced these storms the way some of our other communities have. And so, yeah, I mean, they've got hard hits. So, but I think we're going to get that. I think that we will. Yep.
What details can you share about the president's visit tomorrow? Do you plan on touring the damage with him? Do you guys plan to sit down and meet anywhere?
I don't have details. We've been running through our paces and doing everything, and so I'm sure that they'll be working with Kevin's team about that. I mean, I will say just one thing that I did mention to him on the phone is where these communities, the hardest hit communities, it would be very disruptive to have the whole kind of security apparatus that goes, because there's only so many ways to get into these places. And so what we want to do is make sure that the power restoration continues, that the relief efforts continue, and that we don't have any interruption in that. And I know Kevin has relayed that, and I'm sure they'll be sensitive to that as well. We landed in Horseshoe Beach with a Black Hawk helicopter, and I mean, we were just in like a little sand field, like a sand dune almost. And there's only one way in and out of there, and so we want to make sure people are able to do that, and that the support continues unabated. All right, well, we will be back and have hopefully some more updates of some more progress today.